Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the Recreation and Parks Commission of April 8th, 2025. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Commissioner Lopez,
Here.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Here.
Commissioner Gudino, Commissioner Diaz,
Here.
and Chair Carey.
Here. Thank you. Next, we'll have the approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to go over them?
Yes.
I'm assuming yes. Thank you. Okay. Okay. This is just for, for both meetings, the meeting of March 11th. So those of us that were there on March 11th, or that was the regular meeting.
Commissioner Carey, you'll need to do two motions, one for the 11th.
Right,
and one for
that's-
the other one. Okay, thanks.
We do, right? Yeah, because it's different people. Okay, so then for the meeting of March 11th, do we have
Motion
a
to
motion?
accept?
Second?
I second.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those in favor?
Aye.
I abstain, I wasn't there. Okay, and aye.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, for the meeting of February 25th, that was the special meeting. For those of us who attended, there were three of us that were there. So do we have a motion for that?
I make a motion.
I second.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, they both passed. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is, excuse me, this is that weird agenda. Again. Okay, next on the agenda is public comment period. And each speaker make public comments and not to exceed 3 minutes. And Madam, would you please call them in order?
Yes. First, we have Officer Martinelli to speak on the autism
Oh,
vehicle.
This thing good? Okay. Hello, Council. Thank you for having me today. I wanted to briefly come by and discuss our April's Autism Awareness Month, which the City Rangers and the Recreation and Parks Department is choosing to actively engage in. And our goal here is to bring awareness to the community and education on, an underrepresented community members that we have here, in which, in this case, it's people who have autism. So in the past, we've done other community programs like the Pink Patch Project, and this one is similar, although we have wrapped one of our patrol units in their colors, which is the multicolored puzzle pieces, which represent all the different colors, creeds of people who have autism. We've partnered with the Children's Research Center here in Santa Maria to be our chosen donatee too. And we've also made shoulder patches, limited edition shoulder patches that have the same design as the vehicle, which we will sell to the community members for $10 each, and the proceeds will then be turned over to the Children's Research Center here in Santa Maria. In addition to that, we're also actively participating in some community events with the Research Center. We've been to a couple meetings with them and some photo opportunities and spoken with the media. We're also going to go to a couple baseball games associated with their program. And this weekend, there's an Easter egg hunt for people with autism in Pismo Beach. And we'll be taking the vehicle with us all around, all month long, to raise awareness about the issue. So some of you have already had the opportunity to go out in the parking lot and look at it. And it came out really nice, and we hope that it could be, not just a one-off thing, but we can continue to do it year after year as it, builds momentum and enthusiasm in the community. So,
I have a question. Where can the patches be purchased?
so there's a link that's that I have when people contact me, I can give them the link, and they could use their card with me on the phone to purchase a patch. Or at any of these events, we're going to be bringing the patches with us so people can buy them in person. And I believe there's also a link on the Children's Resource Center that'll send you to the payment area for that. So
Any questions?
Do you happen to have a QR code for your patch?
I do.
Okay,
yes.
perfect. If you
So-
can share that with us, that'd be great.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So
Okay.
open to sell those.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you so much for your support and having me.
Thank you, Brian.
Next speaker we have is Janet Silveira.
Is this on the next item?
For public comment.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Janet Silveira, President and CEO of Community Bank of Santa Maria, and I'm here to speak in favor of naming the Bradley Square in memory of Jim Glines. So just to tell some of you who may not know Jim well, he has been a true champion for this community, not only the business community by starting the Community Bank of Santa Maria, but he's a true patriot and a true civic servant in regards to his dedication to nonprofits and supporting underrepresented groups in Santa Maria. He spent years, decades actually, doing the Elks Queen campaign. He has been an auctioneer at the Junior Livestock Auction, supporting FFA and 4-H kids. He championed the Hancock College Boosters to raise millions of dollars for Hancock athletics, in addition to supporting various Little League teams, the Santa Maria Indians, just all kinds of sporting events throughout the community, various school fundraisers. There isn't a school here, I don't think, that he has not touched. There was not actually a corner of this community that Jim Glines did not touch. He was, recognized countless times for his commitment to the community and his fundraising efforts. Just to name a few, Elk Citizen of the Year, the Santa Barbara County Fair Director Choice Person of the Year, the Chamber of Commerce Citizen of the Year, and most recently a Hometown Hero by City of Santa Maria. So I think having his name on a park at the central spot of this city would be very nice commemoration for a gentleman who really gave tirelessly and endlessly to this community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Carey? No, I'm good. Thank you, Janet. What I'd like to do so that we can do this in order is, can I ask the commission if we can move regular business item 6 or 5B up, because that's really the discussion that we're
Yeah.
hearing, and it'd be more
Surely.
appropriate to do that. If the commissioners are okay with that, we will move to item 6B.
That's fine.
Thank you. Okay, now you can call our next speaker.
Thank you. Next, we have Deb Jeffers.
Good afternoon. I'm Deb Jeffers. I'm with the Boys and Girls Club, previously with the American Cancer Society, and multiple other nonprofits. I'm here in the support of Jim Glines' name being on the Bradley Square Park. Not only was Jim a respected banker in the community, but most importantly, he was a man of his word, always ready to lend a helping hand. There wasn't a nonprofit in the area that he didn't support in one way or another. Jim was not just a mentor to me, but hundreds of young people. He was incredibly generous with his time and guidance. He was slow to know and always gave himself freely. So I really think that this is an important park to be named after Jim Glines.
Thank you.
Mr. Jim Bray.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. My name is Jim Bray. Actually, I'm a fairly newcomer to this community, not like some that are sitting here. I've only been here for 30 years, actually, as of this month. But in that time, I got to know Jim Glines, and I got to watch him in this community, and I got to watch what he did. And I'm not going to catalog all of his accomplishments because that's well documented. But I will tell you, in my 50 plus years of corporate and military careers, I got an opportunity to watch a lot of very impressive people, not only domestically, but overseas. And I can tell you, in my opinion, Jim Glines was right up there with the top of them. I love to watch him in the community. I love to watch his love for this community. I think we've all watched him as an auctioneer. And come on, folks, you need to open that pocketbook. These kids really deserve it. Or, you know, if you want a bargain, go to Walmart. It was just always something that got the people engaged. And I so loved that about him, and I so loved his joy in this community. And I'll just close with, when I think of Jim, I think of the scripture verse, James 6:4, that says, God opposes the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. That, to me, was Jim Glines. And I think it exceedingly appropriate to name a community park in honor of Jim and his contributions to this community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Frank Ortiz.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. I'll try to say something different about Jim, even though we're all saying about the same thing. But my name is Frank Ortiz. I'm a resident of Santa Maria, a retired city employee for the city of Santa Maria. I have been extensively involved with local Rotary clubs and with several nonprofit organizations, as well as service projects in this valley, throughout the valley. And when I first met Jim, some 25 years ago, I knew I met a new friend right away, because he shook my hand, he welcomed me to Santa Maria, and he smiled. You knew he was genuine about helping others and all types of causes in our valley. He was a first-class auctioneer for many, many types of causes in our valley. I didn't realize how big of a deal he was until I ran into him at this huge nonprofit fundraiser at the Golden Gate National Recreation Area in San Francisco. He was their auctioneer. I was impressed. One thing I never forgot about Jim was when he was performing his services as an auctioneer and the event needed a little boost, he would at times dig into his own pockets, Kathy knows this well, and pulled out one of those New York steak barbecue dinners he does so well, auctioned it off to support the cause. So he worked at those events, and he supported those events by sticking his hands in his own pockets. Yes, he was a genuine soul in support of others. There's one way we could keep Jim's spirit alive here in our hometown, and that's if this commission considers a recommendation with a park or facility named in honor of Mr. Jim Glines. I hope you do so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Mike Moats.
Well, good afternoon, members of the Parks and Recreation Commission. My name's Mike Moats, and I've spent a little time in this room before. People are talking about his auctioning ability. And the thing I remember most about it is he'd offer an auction for a dinner, a barbecue dinner, like for 15 or 20 people. And he'd run the price up to $4,000, and they'd be stuck at that level. And then he said, well, how about we have 2 dinners? And, you know, he kind of shamed both people into accepting it. But I'm sure they were well fed afterwards, because he was a wonderful barbecuer. So people have talked about a lot of other things about Jim. I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit about the bank. I've been on the board of directors of the Community Bank of Santa Maria for 24 years, since its inception. And the Community Bank of Santa Maria was the brainchild of Jim and Bill Hares. Both had previously worked for large banks and small banks, and they'd watch the small banks get gobbled up by the large banks. And finally, when Bank of Santa Maria, the original bank, was gobbled up by Rabobank, there were no banks left centered in the city of Santa Maria to serve our community needs. So Jim felt this was a hole that needed plugging. Jim appointed the board of directors, all of whom were from Santa Maria. And he appointed and brought on executive staff and loan officers that were very familiar with Santa Maria. So we wound up with Santa Maria style banking. And that is, we know our customers well, we know their credit risk, we can evaluate and approve a loan immediately almost. We're very quick. And based on that, yeah. You know, thinking back on the loan committee, which I'm also on, I can't recall a single loan that got to the loan committee that we didn't approve. So, and I wanted to speak specifically about one type of loan that Jim was always very pleased about. He'd select one or two FFA kids, and we'd give them a loan, and that they were supposed to pay back, and it was to purchase a pig or a turkey or whatever they wanted to grow. Oh, wow. And then the kids would grow it, auction it off at the county fair, and Jim always made sure that the auction left a lot of money left over to go towards their education. Jim also, I'm not sure how he did this, but almost all of the fund events, fundraiser events for charitable organizations in our community, it always seemed like we had the Santa Maria Bank employees there running the bank, taking people's money, figuring out how much they owed after the auction. Many of those people are on the 5th row right now. So you did a good job. And Jim did a great job of running the bank. And the bank won several awards. One was the best place to work in Santa Barbara County, or one of the best places. And we were regularly designated as super premier performing bank by the Findlay Group. Jim was very proud of the bank. And Jim had a very unique approach to our bank. He was what's called fiercely independent. He'd seen small community banks get gobbled up by big ones. And he was fierce in his desire not to see the community bank of Santa Maria get gobbled up. It was his legacy to the city of Santa Maria, which he wanted to continue indefinitely with his own Santa Maria style of banking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss April Wright, Litchfield.
Hello, my name is April Wright Litchfield, and I'm a district director for Los Padres Council, Boy Scouts of America. And I have been with this organization for 17 years, working for and volunteering with them. And during that time, we've always had a great relationship with the Recreation and Parks Department. They've allowed us to utilize Pioneer Park for volunteer training, for camping opportunities to teach our young people how to camp and how to be good stewards of the community, and also hold our week-long Cub Scout day camp. Well, last summer, we heard that unfortunately, due to budget constraints, we were no longer going to be able to use the facility. And I get it, because BSA is a volunteer-run organization, and we too have been hit hard by budget constraints. But I would like to implore you to possibly consider, maybe we can't use the facilities to as a greater capacity as we had in years past, but maybe we can use it for the week-long Cub Scout day camp for our 5 to 11-year-old kids. I know it's a big ask, but I just like the opportunity to implore you to consider it for our kids. Unfortunately, I'm not a great public speaker, but I'm a much more eloquent writer, and I did write a letter to you as well, if you guys would like to read it. But that's all I have for you today.
Thank you.
We
The-
will,
The mom of an Eagle Scout thanks you.
we'll follow up.
Yes.
Miss Nancy Crawford.
Good afternoon, council members. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak in favor of naming the Bradley Square Park in honor of Jim Glines. As the president of the Rotary Club of Santa Maria Noontime, one of the oldest service clubs in the area, I'm running on behalf of all of our members to advocate for the naming of this park in honor of Jim Glines. To many of us, Jim was more than a neighbor or a colleague. He was Mr. Santa Maria. His larger-than-life personality, unmatched generosity, and unwavering commitment to improving the lives of those around him made him a cornerstone of our community. Through decades of tireless service and philanthropy, Jill not only supported countless civic and charitable initiatives, but also inspired those around him to give more, serve more, and love more deeply. Many members of our club were proud to call Jim a friend, even from childhood. Whether it was through fundraising efforts, community events, or collaborative service projects, his presence was both energizing and essential. He was never one to seek the spotlight, yet his impact shone brightly across the city. In recognition of Jim's profound legacy and lasting contributions to Santa Maria, we respectfully request the council to consider naming the Bradley Square Park in honor of Jim Glines. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mike Gibson.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Gibson, as previously mentioned. I've been involved in the community here a long time. Have known Jim Glines, or knew Jim Glines, for well over 30 years. Starting out originally as competitor bankers, and then for a while we worked together, and then we're competitors again. But the last several years, we just got to be super good friends, and I echo everything that everybody has said so far, and I'm not going to bore you going through all those same details again. But what I would like to talk to you about is, because I've heard some movement towards naming a sporting complex after Jim, as opposed to the Bradley Square Enos Community Center. And I just wanted to point out that I really feel like that Bradley Square Enos Community Center would be a much better way to honor Jim, to name that after him, because he was all about community. He was all about making this community a better place every chance he got. Not that he didn't help sometimes with a sporting organization here and there, but that was more who he was. It was all about his being, part of this community and being a community member. And I would just add to the fact that I had a nice long conversation with his son, John Glines, about this. And John, while he would recognize, this would be an honor for anybody to have anything named after him, but he felt like the community complex would be a far better representation of who Jim was, and that was what he would prefer too. And I know personally, I just feel like it better represents who Jim was and would be a great way to honor him. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Shannon Dennison.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shannon Dennison. I am a local farmer's agent here in Santa Maria. And really, Mike Gibson said everything that I wanted to say. I spoke with John Glines earlier. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here because he's working with one of his queen candidates on a fundraiser. So following in his father's footsteps, But the sentiment is, if we are given this opportunity and there is something that is allowed to be put in Jim's name, I would really hope that the committee would push more for Bradley Square. And just like Mike said, it's not that we're unappreciative to have a sports arena. However, Jim was about the community. So having the community center would be something I think more in line with what his family would appreciate, what he was about. He's done a lot with sports. The rodeo team at Allen Hancock College, I was on the board with him with that. He also backs up the police council. You know, I was on that with him. But really, it's just a mixture of all those things that makes this a great community. And that's what Jim would like. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our last comment for the evening is Lori Tamura.
Good afternoon. My name is Lori Tamura and a friend of Jim Glines. And I really want to remind people about what I think of him as a Pied Piper. I remember first really hearing about him with the Joe White campaign and doing something for Allen Hancock College. And then it was about the police council and rallying a group of citizens to support the police and really work on the morale of this community to support the police department. And he was president of that organization twice. And then it was the rodeos team at Allen Hancock College and rallying the community around that effort. And we just had the rodeo facility used for college competition. Jim just touched everyone. And I can't even imagine not going to the community center for an event without Jim Glines' name on it. It'll make the community smile, probably be even a little bit more generous in the auction items. And it is something that is almost like the heart and soul. The one thing I loved about Jim is that not only was he a great auctioneer and squeezed that last penny out of you, but he participated. I don't know how many barbecues he did for the community. He was there with his team, serving up the meals and just enjoying being part of the community. So I think we owe him this recognition. And I hope that you will support the community's desires to honor Jim. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. So that was the last one, for sure. Okay.
We're going to kind of go in reverse order,
I was gonna
Commissioners.
ask,
Thank
yeah.
you very much. I'd like to present the staff report.
That works.
So before you have a recommendation from staff that to consider naming a city facility or park on behalf of Jim Glines for his nearly 25 years of community service. You've heard all about his background, I think, from those individuals that he has worked with and have been benefactors of many things that he's done. So I'm not going to go through all those. What the commission, if you turn to page 13 of your packet, is a resolution. And the resolution is, the way this kind of rolls out is that you all make a recommendation to City Council as far as naming a facility goes. Council ultimately makes the decision on the facility and whether or not someone is going to be selected to have a facility named after them. So the way the resolution is written, and I'm just going to go through it very quickly. Whereas, James Jim Glines is involved in the Santa Maria community as a business person, historian, and active community supporter of local charities. And whereas Jim Glines was one of the founders of Community Bank of Santa Maria. And whereas Jim Glines was known throughout the Santa Maria Valley for his support of local nonprofit organizations by providing his professional auctioneer service, raising money for many important causes. And whereas Jim was an active member of Elks Lodge 1538, and the Elks Recreation Foundation, where he chaired the annual Elks Rodeo contest for over 20 years. And in 2008, he was recognized as the Elks Citizen of the Year. Whereas Jim served the Santa Maria Valley and surrounding communities when he was appointed to the Santa Barbara County Fair Board of Directors by Governor Duke Majan. And whereas the Recreation and Parks Commission, after reviewing Jim Glines' nomination information, has determined that he has met the criterion to be added to the resource list from which the city facilities are named. And whereas the Recreation and Parks Commission recommends that the City Council select a city park from the list attached to be named James Jim Glines Park. So the resolution is asking that you make that recommendation to the council. Ultimately, it's the council that would choose the site and the facility. I did hear several of the comments today about the Smith Enos site, and I want to make it clear that the community center building itself is actually under contract with the Japanese Community Center, who made the initial donation to get that project moving, that the building is named the Santa Maria Japanese Community Center. That's the name of the building. The park itself doesn't really have a name, and it consists of the remainder part of the parcel, which is the house, approximately 4.5 acres of what will be the parking lot and garden, and then the basin that's behind it, that's about 3 acres. So roughly it's a 7-acre site. We did not add that to the list as a site, only because we're still in construction and moving forward. But we did provide a list of facilities to you that are available for naming, as it were, that don't have an official name to them. But again, that will ultimately be the council's decision as to what facility. If any of you want to make a recommendation from that list, and make it part of your motion, we can do that and pass it on to the council. Or you can adopt the resolution and just send it on to the council for their consideration. And then we'll prepare a whole other staff report when the item comes to the council. And that concludes the staff report.
Thank you. Do we have some input?
comment,
You want
yes.
to adopt the resolution?
I just have a comment first, and then we'll adopt the resolution. Hi, everyone. My name is Sally Lopez, and I would like to share my own thoughts with my relationship with Jim Glines. I also share the same sentiments and thoughts that you all have shared with us today. I didn't know him as long as you all did, but he definitely started off as a mentor for me and eventually became a good friend. And so I certainly, and a lot of people certainly do miss him, and I appreciate the fact that you all are here looking out for him, and we will definitely do the best we can in recommending to the council the best option for Jim, because he does deserve that. So thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. Is someone going to do that?
Make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'd like to make a motion to move, should I select what we recommend, Mr. Posada, or do we leave that?
Yeah, so the recommendation,
resolution.
yes, would be recommending adding Jim Glines' name to the resource list
Okay,
from which city facilities are named and advancing that to the council.
so I make a motion to add Jim Glines to the available opportunities for naming and adding him to the resource list and move that to city council for approval.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, call the vote. We need,
Okay, motion to approve the recommendation. I will do a roll call vote. Commissioner Lopez?
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Aye.
Commissioner Godino?
Aye.
Commissioner Diaz?
Aye.
Chair Carey?
aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody, for coming
Thank
out.
you,
We really
everybody.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very nice, okay. That was good. Good job. Uh-oh. Okay, next on the agenda, we're regular business. Dennis? Not even close. The pedestrian overpass art. With
Good
Mr.
afternoon,
Smitherman.
Commissioners. Chair Carey, thank you so much.
Also in your packet today, we have information regarding the pedestrian overpass. We're looking to beautify that overpass with some great local artwork by an artist by the name of Aaron Cribb. You may recognize Aaron's work in this overpass project. He is also the artist that created the new City Hall signage and the Civic Complex signage out in front of the City Hall. It's quite striking and definitely beautiful. So this project really is about continuing to beautify not only the city, but also really to brand our downtown area, to give it a unifying feel, to give it a sense of place. So the design was really taken into a big factor to help unify our downtown. As you know, the tile work on top of the City Hall is a Moroccan tile work, and that's really where this theme is originating from. And like I said, you'll see the same colors on those two other signs I mentioned. And then in the future, hopefully near future, we will have a creative crosswalk placed right here at Cook and McClelland, also in that same pattern. So really unifying and tying our downtown with that blue gold Moroccan tile feel. Our Public Art Committee, thank you very much, has reviewed and approved the design, and we're bringing it to you today for a final vote. This is a very big, impactful project that will turn many heads, hopefully not while they're driving, but will be a striking reminder that you're entering our downtown area. If you choose to approve, we'll continue working with our downtown committee. I have already been invited to come share this with the Planning Commission and the Downtown Committee as well. So again, that's if you approve. This funding for this project will come out of the council appropriated funding. 2 years ago, they did allocate $250,000 in public art. We've been looking for the right project, a really impactful project, and we do believe that this fits the need of our community to not only beautify, but to place make as well. So tonight, my request is to you to review this and either approve or reject the resolution.
I have a couple questions. Where do you want to place this?
Thank you for that. This is going to be on the pedestrian overpass bridge right here on Broadway. It's the bridge that goes between Macy's and Town Center West.
Oh, the
The
one
Sky
that's
Bridge.
connecting them.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was going to be in the freeway because it says 101 and 135 on the paper.
Yeah, so Broadway is the
135.
and Business US 101.
Says Broadway Street and Highway.
Oh, okay, so Broadway Street.
Broadway and, yes, 135 and Business 101.
That's what it says. Broadway Street and Highway 135.
And would this be on either sides?
On both sides.
Both sides.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion. I move to make a motion to adopt a resolution approving the installation of public art on the pedestrian overpass at Broadway Street and Highway 135 as part of the city's downtown identity and beautification efforts, following review and approval by the Public Art Committee.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Excellent. Okay. Should we vote? Thank you.
Okay, I will do a roll call vote to approve this resolution. Commissioner Lopez?
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Aye.
Commissioner Godino?
Aye.
Commissioner Diaz?
Aye.
And Chair Carey?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commercial specialty structures. Who's that? Dennis?
Where are you? Mr. Posada.
That would be me, sort of.
Okay.
So we're in the process of looking at updates to the municipal code, and one of the items that are there are these specialty structures. So way back when bounce houses became a big convenience for people in bringing them into parks, we had people, bringing in generators, doing all these things that needed some regulation. So we took the specialty structures to the council and commission first, and then the council, and they approved an ordinance that requires that those items be regulated. So they have to come in and get a permit, show that they have insurance. There's a list of requirements, for example, if they're going to use a generator or if they're going to use city power, whatever they are. But it's time to update that. So some of the other things that it talks about in there are, anything that could be erected as a specialty structure. Now, some of you may have seen there's a push for these ice houses, and they're inflatable cubes, big cubes, and you have events inside of them. It's like an inflatable tent, but it looks like a big block of ice. So some things that we really didn't plan for having, we talked about bounce houses. So we're going to bring you back an update to that ordinance to take a look at, and then we'll have some verbiage in there that will kind of make it more inclusive of some of the things that are out there. It also talks about barbecue pits. It talks about all those kinds of things. People, it's Santa Maria, so you have people that want to tow their own barbecue pit in because ours are too small for their party that they're having. So they bring in their own tables and chairs, and they bring lots of things. So we just have to update it to kind of meet the current demands that we have. So that'll be coming to you in the future.
Any questions?
Where will the public be able to come and find this information?
It's usually put on our website, and it's also on the city's website as far as the rules and regulations. So if somebody comes in and wants to rent an area for a birthday party, for example, one of the questions the staff will ask, do you plan to bring in a barbecue pit? Do you plan to bring in your own restrooms? Do you plan to bring in a bounce house? Those questions are asked part of the permit issuance. If a group chooses to use a park and just do a show up, then the rangers will visit them. Most of the contractors that do bounce houses, I don't know where we are today, but most of them would buy their annual permit and then put their permit on their bounce house so that the rangers would just drive by and see that particular company was permitted. So, but it does fall back on the property, on the rentor to make sure all those are taken care of.
Okay.
Thank you. Next, director and management staff reports. Business managers report. Mr. Smeta?
Good evening, commissioners. So I'm going to share just a few items from my neck of the woods, I suppose. Don't have much in the way of budget conversation to share with you today. Come end of May, City Council will be reviewing the citywide budget submittal for the next fiscal year. And so my anticipation is that at our June meeting, I'll have some more information to share with you on what our budget will look like for the next coming fiscal year. So today, I'm going to share some information just related to staff and staff development. So this is very similar to the list I shared with you at our previous meeting. We have vacancies. Many were holding open as a contribution to reducing our spending this fiscal year as required by the city manager. And there's a good chance that this might be going on into the next fiscal year as well, as we look to try to continue to save, or at least contribute to the saving of the larger picture of the city's budget deficit. In terms of staffing, we're excited that, as I shared with you last commission meeting, we had 2 rangers complete their field training, and actually today, Jessica Torres just completed her field training, and so she's a fully fledged ranger who can now drive solo. I think that's the exciting thing. So now we have a full complete set of rangers that are all fully trained. There's 10 of them now, and you'll see them driving around. Not a lot of hires, well, no new hires in the last month, and that's part of the reductions that we're talking about. So this is something which I've been looking forward to sharing with the commission. A little over, under a year ago, we, as a management team, put together an initiative based on feedback from the Cultural Improvement Committee of selecting employees of the month. And these are employees that go above and beyond outside of their regular functions to try to contribute to the overall goals and mission and vision of the department and the city as a whole, and then go above that. And so here you see our first 7 that have been selected. This, so how it works is supervisors and staff will provide nominations to the management team, and as a management team we read the write-ups and the justifications and what is said about them, and then we make determinations. And so it's been very exciting to be able to recognize our employees individually, and we're going to continue on. You can see we're a little bit behind. We have February and March still to go, but it's been well received from our staff. And then just in terms of some development that's happened recently, about a month ago, a little over a month ago, our city rangers participated in EVOC training, emergency vehicle operations training, and the training included, well, you can see it on the screen, but basically a lot of what they might get involved in, and some things that hopefully they don't have to do too much of, high-speed cornering and pursuits and things like that. But it was a good opportunity for them just to get reacquainted with the techniques of these different types of functions that they may be asked to perform. And then for our 3 brand new ranges, this was a first thing for them, brand new for them, and so it was a good day for that training. Pardon? Yes, and I got to go as well, and I got to perform all the.
I was going to say, yeah,
the same types
there seems
of
to be a
training, and so if you
a
see me
business
driving
and
my-
human resource manager in there.
Yeah. I did, yes. There's a video.
A video.
Anyway, so that concludes the staff report. One of the things I hope to do going forward in future commission meetings is to talk more about how we are developing our staff and some of the trainings that have been going on, because that's important for you to know as well, that we are continuing to invest in our employees and just to try to help grow their skill set, because that obviously contributes to the overall mission of our department. Any questions from the commission?
Are you planning on gathering more rangers, or are you guys set with the 2 new females that you have?
At this time, we are not actively recruiting for additional rangers.
And you said you have 10 in total?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Smith. Next, we have Miss Angela Osmond.
Hello, Commissioners. I just want to highlight a few projects. We have quite a few going on. I hope to bring to you some pictures in the coming months once they get more complete. I don't want to show you half-done pictures, but I'd like to show you some before and after pictures. But some of the projects that we have going on that are in progress, again, DeJoy is under construction. We hope to get the playground completed here in the next month and a half is my hope. And then Taylor Pocket Park is one that's been on our list for quite a while. That has started construction. So if you're ever out in that neighborhood, you'll see quite a bit of heavy equipment out there. So it's very exciting that that's also getting started. We have Veterans Memorial Park. One of the last phases to be completed is the Memorial Garden. So if you haven't been out there, it's currently under construction, and that should be completed in the next couple of weeks. So also exciting. And then Presker Park, we have a paving project going out there that Public Works is doing at the entryway. And so What will happen is it will force all of the traffic to the right, and then folks will need to go around the loop. What we'll do is when we have really heavy activities, we'll open the other gate. And then once that project is completed, I'll bring in pictures and then give you an update on what that looks like and how it will function. And then finally, we got some good news about the Enos House and Japanese Community Center. They are going to start pulling electrical wire this week, which means we are crossing our fingers on getting on a date for PGE. And at this point, the time is ticking for us. You'll also see our parks level of service out in the parks. We talked about it over the last couple of months. So we're kind of doing some maintenance here and there. We're maintaining our ball fields. So we're kind of making the rounds. But if you see any glaring issues, please reach out to me and let me know, and we can talk about that at any time. And that's a short update for this time. And I'm happy to answer questions.
Any questions? I do have a comment.
Sure.
Sprinklers.
Sprinklers.
They were turned on at the Adams Basin at 9 in the morning. And I think they were already doing the second, because I think there's 4 sections of sprinklers. So the one that was running is the second to the closest to the Santa Barbara County Fair. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there still needed one more to do, and probably that was going to be at 10. So we gotta fix those times.
Okay.
That was actually yesterday and today.
Okay. Yeah, because we have had PG&E's notifications of power outages, so our time clocks might be screwy now because of that. So Angela will follow
We'll address
up.
that.
Cool. Okay.
Thank you.
I do have a question. In the park that's right across the way from the shelter, we have that fast, outdoor soccer space. I've been getting a lot of feedback if we can place those kinds of spaces in different parks. What is the likelihood of that?
Yeah, that would be something that we would plan for. I think we've got some.
Yeah, we have 2 more tentatively planned, for the sports complex. It may be a later phase, but we are looking at those. The sport of futsal is definitely popular here, FUTSAL, and has been growing. And we got that one, and the popularity has really soared. And so we're getting those requests. Not as much as pickleball, but definitely getting those requests. So, thank you.
And then, perfect. So I will give that feedback. And then the other one is, what is the likelihood of us having, and correct me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, a calisthenic park? Calisthenics park?
So we do have calisthenics in a couple of our areas in the park. So one's at Rotary, another one's over by Jim May. Where's the third?
There's one, oh yeah, no, you said that one, Jim May, yes.
The Vets has a brand new one.
Where?
The Vets Memorial Park. I will tell you, there's an idea of a calisthenics park is a little bit different. For those of us who grew up in this setting, a calisthenics park would be that outdoor exercise equipment that we're referring to. There is a different type of calisthenics park, really depending, the comments that I've seen and pictures I've received are definitely from Mexico. And that is a very big, dynamic, scary structure. So
we want something smaller.
Okay, so there is a big difference, because I have gotten that request for both outdoor exercise equipment and this calisthenics park, and that's what they were referring to specifically, was this big structure.
Well, I seem to be getting the same request over and over by this group, this age demographic, right? Like these youngsters, like in the summer, they want to be kept busy, but maybe they can't afford the gym. I've been handing out those surveys when that time was that, and that was one of the reoccurring things that was mentioned, to create a culture, right, of working out outside, and it creates camaraderie, it creates friendships, it creates community connections. So that was just something I wanted to bring up.
Thank you. We can send the locations that all of those different facilities are at right now.
Yes,
It's definitely something we've been including more and more, and even the most recent at the Veterans Memorial that did not exist before.
I'll have to walk those,
It was
yes.
also designed at, when talking at the 6 public meetings we held for that grant, parents and adults really wanted it next to the playground so they can work out while their kids are
that's a good
playing.
idea.
So definitely taking that input from the community and trying to build it into the design. There's a lot of great new calisthenics playgrounds, as we're referring to, with a lot of the ninja courses and new exercise equipment that's coming out all the time. And so we'll look at those as we go forward with new projects.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Smitherman?
Thank you, Chair. I have a whole long list. I will be here a half an hour, just for Sally. And my crew's here, so I've got to make sure I cover everything. I'll keep it quick. I really want to start tonight by saying thank you to Karen, who's our community outreach coordinator. She is in the audience tonight. We just got our numbers back from our survey results, so thank you to all of you for pushing it. But a really big thank you to Karen. We received over 1,200
Wow.
surveys. We did, which is almost double what we received 5 years ago. So this is a huge impact for us. The comments were great. I will tell you there was 222 in Spanish, and I know that's 75% more than we received last time we did this. Those are handwritten Spanish that Karen was out with rec leaders and really at all these events on her weekends, really jumping out there to get input from the entire community. Her and Cindy Hoskins really are spearheading this project and have done a great job. So the next steps will be that the organization that we're working with will compile all this data and we'll get a tentative report, start doing some cutting. Some of the comments that we've got actually are not really recreation. They're going to be more facilities based, so they'll go through and weed some of that out. We'll keep them because the suggestions are great and the input is great any chance we can get. But for the actual recreation leisure needs assessment, those comments may not be in there, but you'll see them. We'll provide those to you. I really also wanted to share with you that those of you who saw the website, there was features on there that people could place pins on where they would like certain venues or activities. We had 64 contributors to our map, which was nice. People were given the choice to spend $100 in fund money in the budget section. We had 180 responses to that. And then the idea wall, this one, take with a grain of salt, because I think someone wrote skate park in there like 20 times. But we had 128 people who went in and put an idea on the wall. I got to read some of those. There's some really great fun ideas. So we'll again bring those back to you at a later date. To go through our programs, thank you for everyone who got this to me. We have Spring Break Camp at Edwards starting for spring break, April 21st through 25th from 9 to 1. We have camp for 6 to 13-year-olds, and we are full with 36 participants. Full. Thank you.
Full.
Celebrate Earth Day event at Machado Plaza on April 22nd. Love Earth Day. Come hang out with us and a bunch of our partners as we talk about being good stewards. We're going to be there from 12 to 3 on April 22nd. We're going to have Explore Our Parks, which is a digital spring egg hunt. We've done this over the last couple years. You're going to find cutouts of big eggs in our parks. Take a picture, submit it, take a selfie, and possibly win a prize. And then again, in partnership with the Discovery Museum, we have Kite Festival, April 27th from 12 to 4 at the Rotary Basin. This was a huge event. The last, 10 years. We took a break, obviously, during COVID, but the numbers came right back. It's a fun event. If you're a parent bringing a child out, bring scissors to cut string because it gets tangled like fishing line, let me tell you. We have... For aquatics, we have a spring break rec swim, so we'll be opening the pool 4 days out of that week for those families and youth that want to come swimming. We'll have the pool open from 1 to 3 Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, the 21st, the 23rd, the 25th, and 26th. Remember, for youth, for those 2 hours, it's only $1.50. So please send people to come to Rec Swim. If for those of you who have families that may not be able to afford it, please let me know after the meeting. I'll be sure to get you guys some passes for those families that may not be able to handle the $1.50 per child. Let's see, swim classes, swim lessons also begin the week of April 14th. Don't get too excited, they're full. Yeah, they're very full, so it's typical. If you come in, I remember when Angela first started and we opened up swim lessons and there's a line out the door and she's like, what is going on? Oh, it's swim lesson day. So thanks to Jackie who came and helped out our front desk because we get a lot of parents asking questions. They did start a new assessment program last year where we have an assessment day so they know where to put their child in to start our swim lessons beforehand. So I think you guys ran 2 or 3 of those this year? 4 this year. So really giving the parent an opportunity to come in, assess their child beforehand so when they do register, they know right where to put them in because these classes fill up fast. We open those doors at 8 and sometimes by 10 o'clock they're completely sold out. So we are the largest contributor to swim lessons in our area where the cost is very reasonable. So they're doing an amazing job out there. We do have new lights at the Paul Nelson Aquatic Center, 2 new LED stadium lights. They work 99% of the time, except today. We're just figuring out the glitches and bugs. Thankfully, we don't need them right now, but super bright, super nice, and energy efficient. Really gives our lifeguards a great perspective of the pool. And so if you're out at the pool deck in early morning or late, come check out the lights. Really excited. We just opened a new playground at Los Flores Ranch Park. It is a hike to get there. We forget to tell people that, and then when they show up, they're like, well, we got to walk. So when you park at the visitor or park in the parking lot, you'll walk up to the visitor center, go up just a little further and take a left. You'll just stay to the left on Dinosaur Caves Trail. There's a new playground out there that is, I think, one of our most fun. So go check it out. But it is a walk. Almost there, guys. Almost there. We have McClellan Street Market just started its new cohort of 5 teens. They've been doing the background training for the last 2 weeks. All now have received their food handler permit, so we're excited about that, and they're actually starting in the market this week to get the hands-on training as well. So we're excited that we have another group that's going to go through that. They usually come out really great with skills ready to go find their next job. That is my report, and again, remember our new rec guide is available online. I don't have print copies yet. We are really encouraging the flip book, those print copies. We don't like to have any left at the end of the season. And we are now seasonally based, so you'll see that rec guide 4 times a year. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. There's so much going on. It's wonderful. Director's report, Mr. Posada.
Thank you, Commissioners. Just to put a little bit of perspective on Dennis's surveys. So the first time we did the Community Leisure Needs Assessment, I think we were lucky to get about 300 responses. And so, to get to 1,200 now with a population of 100,000 plus people that we have, I looked it up. So that is a margin of error of less than 3%. So what that tells us is that information, we can use that information for planning purposes into the future with a pretty stiff recommendation that that's what the community wants. It just, that number is amazing. So thank the staff that worked on that. They did a great job. Our consulting firm, for getting everything together. We did plan to bring that leisure needs assessment back to the commission and the council. I had to do some jockeying around because of the council agenda. The council meetings agenda times have changed. So there will be no May 20th city council meeting. So it kind of pushes us back. So we will probably end up bringing that item to you in July. so that it coincides with Park and Recreation Month in July. So for your July meeting, we might get you the rough draft at your June meeting so you have some time to look at it.
Good.
And then we'll plan to take it to the council after that, and probably either the second meeting in July or the first meeting in August, so that we can present to them what the community is telling us they want to see as far as programs and services go. Ideally, we would have wanted to presented that before the budget, but that's just, timing just isn't going to work out. I wanted to just ask the commissioners that attended the conference how it went for you all. Did you enjoy it? Did you learn anything? Did you come back with any great ideas?
Go ahead. I already know what you're going to say.
Hi. So yes, I went to the conference and it was nice. It was my second year, and I feel that I got more out of it this year than I did last year personally, because I planned it better this year as far as choosing the right courses for me as a commissioner. There were some interesting ones that, I may or may not have disagreed with, but other than that, I think it brought me a lot of knowledge as far as leadership courses that I took in day-to-day life as well. And so I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the company of everyone that attended. So, and since we're on the topic of, is this our oral report, I'm assuming?
Oh, no, I was just asking the
Oh,
question.
you're asking?
Yes.
Okay, so then I will
Thank
come
you.
back to you on that one. Okay, that's all.
Okay, yeah, it was a great conference. It's always great, but it's kind of what you make it, because every year the choices of sessions are different, and they might be focused on leadership one year and young intern kind of stuff that goes on. And some years, a couple years ago, it was all about trees. I mean, there was one like every hour. It was so great. I loved it. And Alex was in all of those tree sessions as well. But some years are different, and this year was different. I mean, it was. We might have walked out of one or two and two others, because something was like, oh, we're going to talk about finding new places within your city, and remember? And it was literally about purchasing fake turf, artificial turf. It was incredible. It was just incredibly how we couldn't imagine how this fit in with the topic, what it was supposed to be. But Parks is nature therapy. That was one of the best. Building political capital in your community. That's always interesting. It was no space to build. Growing access community gardens. There were so many good ones. It was a great conference, and I really appreciate getting to go. Even the exhibit hall was way better this year. I mean, I don't know if you all thought that, but it was more interactive. You didn't just go and get your lunch. It was just fun, and people were more talkative, and it was a really great time. I just hope everybody gets to go at some point, because it's a huge learning experience almost every single class you go to, but it's really great. Thank you for letting us attend.
Thanks for sharing. I did ask the staff that attended to give me a couple of pages write-up of the sessions they attended, so we could share with the other staff and just get an idea how things are going. So if you all want to do that, you certainly are welcome to send
Yeah, I
those to me.
actually started doing that, because Rick Hayden used to have us do that so
Yes.
I love doing that. So I'll do that.
And as far as the conference goes on the bigger scale, I think there was a lot of conversations that I was able to have with some of my peer people there, and things they're getting ready preparing for, with a number of environmental things that are happening in California. The fires in Southern California were particularly impactful to LA County parks and the cities that were impacted there, Malibu and some of those cities. So it was good to kind of hear what their plans were, and the fact that their emergency plans that they had in place actually kind of worked, other than the fact that you had these fires. So it was a good conference. one of the sessions that I attended, they spoke about tax revenue and revenue producing items, which is something that, we're going to be looking at. With the fee study that's going to advance through the council coming up. I think we're going to go May 2nd with that particular item. It would be nice for those commissioners that were able to attend the meeting to, when we discuss that, to attend, or any other commissioners if you want to get a little bit more of a background. The plan is to present to the council the pyramid idea, concept, and to have them not necessarily approve every single fee for every single program, but to take that pyramid and use it and percentages that came out of our meeting that Dennis has prepared for them to say, yes, we want to recover, 0% on fees for youth programs. But if it's an individually benefiting program, the percentage of recovery would be higher. How much of if the fee's $100 for a program, how much of that do we want to recover for a individually beneficial program? And so those are discussions that were had during the meeting with the three commissioners that were able to make it. So that recommendation is going to move forward. And the second part of that is that instead of us having to go back to the council for every fee, every season, as Dennis mentioned, there's probably at least a dozen things in this year's summer offerings that we didn't do before or that we modified in some way. So if we had to go back to the council every single time for every single fee. So the recommendation is that the commission have the opportunity to review those fees and approve them and approve any changes to those fees, which is a big step because the commission has very limited authority in the municipal code. So for the council to take that action would be, relieving themselves of a responsibility, but then also having to ensure that the commission is able to take on that responsibility. It's a big responsibility to hold the public meetings, get the input from the community, and then, basically move forward on what the fees are going to be that we charge the public. So I think it's an opportunity for you to all speak to your council members and express to them your ideas if you think that's a good idea or not. But it is an opportunity for the commission to take on that duty, and we could review fees by season. As Dennis said, if we're going to 4 seasons, it kind of changes the rhythm. We're not like the landfill where it's an annual fee and they go back every year. We have to be very flexible to respond to our constituents and the programs that are popular, right now. If we wanted to have the calisthenic program or something like that, we have to hit those while the iron is hot because our constituents' needs and interests change, almost daily. So some of you might remember that we had some meetings with the skateboard group a couple of years back. And, I drive by the skate park at least 10 times a week and it's dead. I mean, I see maybe just a handful of people there. And we had a big group at one time that was really, pushing for more skate parks and more areas. And I hear in the surveys that there's some talk about skate parks. But yeah, it's interesting the way things change, the people's interests change.
Wow.
So anyway, other than that, I'm sorry?
May 2nd?
May 2nd, the item will go to council, and I'll have Shannon send you all out the council packet so you'll see what we're presenting to the council that day.
We're just signing.
Okay, good.
We'll get you the exact date.
Let's see here. And I believe that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Posada. Okay, next we have commissioner items. Official business conducted by a commissioner. Who'd like to start?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I do have a question as far as the Jim Glines motion that we just did. It says that we will be, the motion that was moved will be making, the commissioners will be making a recommendations in regards to that. When will that take place?
So we'll advance that to the council at the next possible agenda time. So it'll probably not be the next meeting, it'll probably be the May 2nd meeting.
So we will have the chance to make a recommendation as far as which park to choose, or it's just we recommend that he's named after a park?
Correct, it's
and
the latter.
choose which one?
And they'll pick
Gotcha.
which one, yes.
Okay. And the second question I have is, I don't know if Karen can answer, but maybe you can answer. You mentioned that there was 220 surveys from that were in Spanish. What was the challenge for them, or if there's any, as far as how, if they have access to the information, if you will?
Come on up, Karen.
Sorry. I'm just curious to see how, because you got these surveys or their input from walking around talking to them, but did they mention the challenges that they have as far as them may or may not be receiving the information where they can look for it? I'm curious.
Yes, so I think one of the big parts that I noticed in doing the surveys and having a lot of face-to-face interaction is that the Latinx community that we're reaching out is a face-to-face community. That is how they're getting their information, is person to person. There's not necessarily been a lot of history with trust in us giving them the information. So I think that the feedback that I received was not only initiating those relationships, but following through with them and being able to really sustain them, right? And so like making sure that if we are at one of the Downtown Fridays, we're doing that the following month, and then one time the following month, to make sure that our presence isn't just a one time because because we need surveys. But that was one of the piece of feedback I got. And then I think on a technicality, the survey translated into Spanish, I think that it would have, well, I brought it up to Dennis and he fixed it, being able to add pictures, right? Because there are often barriers to reading that we are not even aware of. And so being able to point to a picture really, helps out with that.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. And then the last thing I'd like to ask for a request is the fee study report that we conducted together before it's presented. Do you mind if we just get a copy of it just so we can get a refresher as far as what we decided on as far as prices?
Yeah, Shannon will get you a copy, get everybody a copy for those commissioners that weren't there. It'll also be enlightening so you could see what the recommendations are.
Excellent. Perfect. And one more thing I want to add actually to the conference is I reckon I enjoyed very long walks. Thank you. That's all I have.
The one thing that I've been working on is I've been coordinating with the Parks and Rec department. I think that Shannon and Diego have been helping me out to organize a town hall meeting for Councilwoman Flores. The event is scheduled for this Monday coming up, April 14th, if I remember correctly, at the Edwards Community Center from 5:30 to 7. So, yeah, 5:30 to 7. So that's what I've been working on here. Yeah.
Anything else new in your life?
Oh, yeah. We welcomed our son. He's 18 days. So we haven't been getting very much sleep, but definitely enjoying being new parents again. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
I haven't done much with being a commissioner, but I've talked to the community. The community right now, talking about trust, what Karen was talking about, you know how we post fees, we put fees on items, on programs, on specifically on the lights, that we actually put a fee for the lights. Unfortunately, the community has been misinformed on how much the city is charging for the lights. And I've been giving that information to them, like, here's the fee, look, this is what it is. So if your coach or if your league is telling you that the fee is crazy, then that's where, because they're blaming the city, they're blaming us, they're blaming the city for the fees, the community. The community is saying that the fees are too exorbitant, that they're crazy, that they're too high, who can pay for that? But then when I actually show them the actual charge and the fee, they're like, well, that's not what I'm being charged. So families at the Adams Basin are being charged $5 every day their kid practices during the week. Wow. Per child. So if there's 10 or 11 kids, they're paying $5 each kid, or if there's more kids, they're paying $5 each kid. So now that the times have changed, that the sun goes down after 7, they're still being charged those fees because supposedly this league or this coach paid for the whole entire year of lights. So that's the information that I'm being told, and it's like, okay, no. You can come to the city, you can come to Recreation and Parks, you can ask yourself directly to the people that work in the Recreation and Parks, and ask them directly how much the fee is, and confirm the information that I gave you. Wow. So that's the information I have, and that's where we go back to the trust issue. Yeah. Like, there's misinformation given by other people that are causing the community to think that we're charging way too much, and we're not. So that's what I'm getting, and I'm being bombarded by a lot of parents right now.
Is it a particular team?
It's specifically at Adams Basin. Adams Basin. Whoever practices at Adams Basin, they're being charged that much.
Okay.
Wow.
We'll look into it, have Gabriel take a look into that and see. And certainly, I totally appreciate those kind of comments, because I know none of you have a problem giving us a call and letting us know what's going on. Feel free to call anytime, so that we can follow up on these things, because we don't want to be portrayed as being the reason why people are charging these fees.
That's awful.
We struggled with coming up with a light fee that was able to cover, just the basic light. We're not charging about replacement bulbs or, the installation. We're just trying to pay the electric bill. I mean, that's where the fee is right now. And I still think we thought it was pretty high. So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, and we'll look into it.
Okay. Wow, thank you. Yeah.
My review really has been, for the past month, really focused on that survey. I have been pushing that thing every place possible. I'll give you a perfect example. I went to go pick up my prescription at JDX this morning, and I'm walking in and I'm like, oh, it's my survey. Or our survey, and I just plastered it everywhere possible. I put it on my social media, I gave it to my parents, I gave it to my cousins, multi-generational households, which I just really want to make note that sometimes we have Spanish-speaking households, but there's a multi-generation, right? There's the grandma, there's the parents, there's the children, that first generation. And so, like, from one household, you'd get 7 surveys or like 1 survey because they all have different needs, right? And then that younger first generation is really translating for what the grandma's needs are, where these needs. I sat down with my 74-year-old parents and said, what do you need from your community? And so it was really cool to see how comfortable people were to express, hey, these are the things that I really would like to see more in our community. Like the calisthenic park, I would have never thought that would have been something that our youth or like our older youth would be into, right? It creates like a sense of community for them, which I think is really, really cool. And then one of the things that I actually did today, which sort of brings it up on my mind more, is obviously, I work with the unsheltered community in town. And one of the things I have been noticing is that we've been getting a lot of overnight sleepers in our new stations that you guys have been putting up. And so like today in the morning, like at 7 o'clock in the morning, I moved someone along, offered them services, did all that. But when that happens and I've already cleaned up the area, but there's bodily stuff left behind. Who do I call for that to clean up? Because I tried to clean up as best as possible, but I'm obviously not the best for that. So that would have been like an immediate response where we're like, we changed the person and did the whole thing. But it seems to be a couple, like 2 or 3 bus spots that are continuously used. So how do I navigate that?
So that would be Public Works is responsible for the bus stops. Let me get you a contact.
I would, yeah, I definitely needed that this morning.
Because I believe that they contract out the maintenance of those shelters to a private company that goes around and does them, but I'm sure they're not on a demand response kind of thing. But it may be something they need to consider, you know.
Okay, that will work. Thank you.
Thank you. The meeting is adjourned.